Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 13th of September. So let's start off looking at the news events coming out. Let's just flick across onto here and look at today's calendar. There's nothing. I made it really simple, didn't it? Nothing. But of course, traders will be looking forward, but really it's a modest week after seeing central banks last week and other key data the week before. It seems that it's a quiet week ahead relatively, so maybe we'll just get on with some technical trading. So there we go, nothing to watch out for this morning. One thing that's very noticeable looking at the market this morning, in fact, it looks pretty much that the dollar is grabbing the attention this morning and certainly pushing through from Friday. We saw that sort of reversal coming in on Friday, and at the moment it's looking bullish again. Dollar index wise itself, a break above that 92.86 gives us a higher low and certainly confirms a sort of maybe a continuation of the current upside. Looking then at the euro dollar, where the euro obviously is a good part of that dollar index, a very good part, well over half. And just looking at what's gone here, well, this has already broken down its lows here, and it really has, to me, signified further downside. It's broken the daily 50, well and good, and broken that prior low there. So very soft looking at the moment on the dollar index. And if you look at this, I mean, this is daily buys. There's almost as much down today as we were down on any other Friday day here at the moment. Volatility's picked up effectively for a day at least for now. Whether it just consolidates is another matter, but certainly looking a bit soft. Upside, if we was to see any sort of bounces, of course we've got the weekly pivot sitting up there, and you can see that step down now. We've had this sort of nice trend up. The weekly pivot's been stepping up, nice steps. Although it was eventually broken last week, we've seen the weakness coming in from last week as it broke down through that weekly pivot, lower high coming through, and just reading the signs, it's come in overnight here and gave us another lower high here. And so looking, as I say, quite bearish at the moment. Opportunities to get in are really looking for retracements on that, but it's as I say, it's already done quite a big move at the moment. Sorry, let's just change this to a 60-minute chart. There we go, see a bit more. But you can see it's already moved almost a normal day's range for the moment at least. Okay, the pound. The pound effectively double topped on Friday, had its reaction to that eventually, and then started rolling back there. And again, this is put on the smaller time frames. You can see on this 4-hourly lower highs, you'll see it a lot clearer on the 60-minute there, the lower highs coming through there. Yeah, just looking soft, similar sort of situation as we got there with the euro, although it might just find a bit more support where it's sitting at the moment with this 100. Okay, it's run through the 200 for now. 200 still facing upwards, still suggesting potential upside, but everything else is really curling around and coming back to give resistance, I guess. So again, looking soft at this stage. Dollar yen. Dollar yen again on Friday. Well, it's normally if we see risk off, risk on. We're risk off in this particular case. We'd have expected the dollar yen to be getting stronger, but it's just a normal sort of old-fashioned move here. We've got the dollar gaining strength, the yen getting softer, as is the other markets. That's what we're seeing, the euro, the pound. So just seeing the euro sold as well. So it's pure dollar strength coming through in these markets. Coming down the time frames on this, it's a difficult one. You can be if you're range trading it, well, there's the range that it's sitting in. It's broken clearly through the Asian session there. That broke that 109.95 even, 110 area. That's the key area. So it's broken that at the moment and looking like it's heading back towards the 110.40 area. So that would be its point of resistance coming through above. Okay, Aussie dollar. Morning, Davey. Aussie dollar. Again, it was holding up a bit better than some of the markets last week, but eventually, well, for a while anyway, for a couple of days, but eventually sold off here. It's softening, and again, lower high. It's only just done confirm that in this morning, but it's not had the same sort of movement in terms of pips, I guess. But well, don't know, when you look at it shorter time frames, it looks like it's had quite a move, but relatively it's not moved that much. But again, well, maybe just retracing, ready to find some resistance, but it does look soft. It does look a mess at the moment against the US dollar. It's not necessarily easy to read here. Getting lots of this sort of spiky sort of price action, volatility coming through, and not making it a clear one, an easy one to read. But lower highs up here, lower highs here, so you're getting the sort of lower highs, lower low sort of picture at the moment, and it's, well, had another attempt recently. Just need to wait until we break 8 o'clock, I guess, to see what happens there. Okay, that's the Aussie. Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar reversal there on Friday. This is one that might just strengthen at some point, start strengthening, but for now, well, just it's just not done quite the same as what the other market's done, i.e. in this case it should be putting a higher low. It hasn't quite managed it. It just looks that little bit tougher. Maybe it's just pinched it a little bit, but it looks like more like a, maybe just pinched it. Maybe this is the one that's going to run this morning then, and push on. And later it's the one that's lagging the others at the moment. It's not quite as soft against the dollar. It's holding up there. Okay, cross pairs. Let's just have a look at the euro yen. It's a habit more than anything else. Like this pairing, just really showing same old picture here. Lower highs, lower lows. But there you go, a bit more strength then on this morning, sort of running through this morning. The euro hasn't quite rolled over quite so much against the yen as it has against the dollar, but does, well, we'll see. Maybe it's on for its weekly pivot there as it pulls around, but daily and weekly pivots are sitting above. But looking at it at the moment, it looks anything but likely it's going to do that. But yeah, it's just looking soft. So there you are, all the markets looking soft. The yen certainly, euro certainly giving up some of its previous gains against some of these cross pairs. Right, leaving that for a moment, let's have a look then at gold. So gold consolidating on Friday, well, selling off on Friday in the end, consolidating the last 3 days there, though. It's quite rangy, and it hasn't really pushed down quite as much here either. It's not given us that lower high confirmation that we've seen with the other markets. Gold holding up just that bit better. It has the weekly pivot above. It does turn around this morning, starts shifting, but at the moment, once again, it just looks like it's got more downside as you come down this hourly, but maybe a shift back above 1793 gives it an opportunity to go up towards that weekly pivot, and maybe even further 1803 back to those highs. It has been very range bound. That for those range traders, well, any bounces here moving back a reversal patterns may give an opportunity at least towards that weekly pivot. Okay, oil, real snappy old market last week, and where you can see how snappy it was when you look at the dailies here with side by side the bars here, and within those bars, well, we saw even more chopping going through. You just see how the figures came out later in the week there, snapping downwards, buying back up again, snapping back down. A right old mess. At the moment, it's hinting to me, I don't know, it's unfortunately hinting to me that it wants to break this. Looking back at the dailies here, anything above 70.58 really looks more bullish, and would suggest then my original analysis of further downside was wrong, but well, we'll see. But that certainly looks like it's heading up there at this stage. Short term, well, just running into its R1 this morning. Daily pivot, weekly pivot targets down below here. If it does roll over, quite good targets sitting there. Right, let's move on and look at I'm going to go to cryptos. Well, not yet. I will be looking at cryptos first because they're lined up first. Just wait for those markets to open and see a bit of data, and I'll run through the equity markets first. But cryptos first. And what we've got here, Bitcoin, the first then, and well, choppy range. It gets to that point where you just think, well, this is just going to consolidate again. It's back into its original range. Maybe this is just going to consolidate. It did have its breakout that was helped by sort of third party effectively, but it's steadied itself for now. But we're seeing the natural reaction back to sort of a stronger dollar, and as it's Ethereum or Bitcoin stroke US dollar, we'd expect some sort of price action to be showing the strength of the US dollar, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. So on each of these markets, with Ethereum again consolidating, maybe just waiting here for another push up. It's going to be an ugly push up if it happens, but as in technical, it just doesn't look like it. It looks like it's almost consolidating around here at the bottom on these levels to ride the way down. But as I said, with the sort of moves that we saw there last week before, last week even, it's just sort of thrown it a little bit. So just a softer, a stronger dollar rather, and causing the effect here that we're seeing. So across all of those markets. Right, let's have a look at the indices. Now we've got some open, that'll be good. We'll just have a quick look across through. Okay, the Hong Kong CSI 300 selling off a little bit here, but this market now it's put the high lows, high highs in on the shorter time frames there, and looking a little bit stronger. If we come back to the Nikkei, you see the Nikkei's been really charging up back to the old Nikkei, looking like it wants to make some new highs coming in here. If we just come back out a little bit and just see how well. Not going to get as much of that, but you can see how strong it's pushing up at the moment. Really positive move there. Completely out of correlate. Well, gone in reverse correlation to what we're seeing elsewhere at the moment. Okay, so they're pushing up and looking like they've probably got some more. I mean, we might get a reaction to these highs here if you're trading them overnight. May get a bit of reaction, but there may be a lot of stops sitting above there. Okay, let's have a look at the European markets then. Just go to the French market first here, picking up a bit this morning. Weird old price action with very small ranges last week on Friday. So there's a DAX here. Very small day, positive. It gapped down, so it's given us a little positive looking day on the futures there. It looks like last week. How a green bar can be lower than the previous close, but there we are. It must have gapped and pushing up this morning, unless that is an extra bar it puts in over the weekend. So if you just checking on here, no, it's not. So pushing up this morning, a little bounce coming through here. Maybe it's a little sign of things to come. FTSE, yep, also bouncing up at the moment. It just looks like with these markets, what we've got here. With the lower highs come through with the DAX, etc. With the FTSE here, didn't quite break out the prior low there, but does look soft. So they just look that bit softer, and the CAC there, well, the CAC's okay, consolidating a little bit better, but they certainly look soft. Looking at the US markets, then, well, really, that's the biggest bit. Most amount of down days we've had for quite a while there. They had the whole week coming off last week eventually, with quite a sell-off on Friday. Bouncing at the moment. Maybe this is it's going to catch something a little bit more. Let's just come down and look at it on here. See a bit more detail on my market here. Let's come out to the dailies and just look for some support. Just looking, it's just sitting around its weekly pivot here. Maybe it's got some potential for a bit more support. Let's have a look. It's into its 4-hourly 200, so it's got a bit of support. Actually, looking at this, it's sort of giving me a weekly pivot just above. Maybe that's a point where we'll see resistance running into that weekly pivot, and with the way we've been seeing lower highs, lower lows, that may be a shorting opportunity. Right, that's pretty much it for me. I wish you a great day's trading. I'll catch you in the morning. Yes, Davey, we've got CPI out tomorrow. That'll maybe give them a bit of volatility in the mornings, but and inflation is being picked up on, but it's also being ignored in terms of whilst a lot of people are talking about it. Most central banks have written it off for now, so we'll see. But there we go. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the morning. Bye for now. There we go, all done. Right.